All right, let's settle a big one. If you're building an AI workstation, you've probably been staring at two specific GPUs, the RTX 4070 Ti Super and the RTX 4080. One seems like the smart value play, the other is all about raw power. This decision can seriously impact your workflow, your time, and your wallet. So let's dive right in and figure this out. Look, both of these cards are absolute beasts for AI, but they're not interchangeable. The real question is, which one is the right workhorse for your specific projects, your deadlines, and yeah, your budget? That's what we're here to break down.
You know what? Let's just get right to the verdict. No waiting until the end. The RTX 4070 Ti Super, that's your pragmatic choice. It's for anyone who needs awesome AI performance, but is also keeping a close eye on the price tag and the power bill. Then you've got the RTX 4080. This is the pure powerhouse. You pick this when every second counts and you just need the fastest possible results, period.
Okay, but before we really dig into what separates them, you have to understand just how much they have in common. They're built on the same incredible foundation, and honestly, that's what makes this choice so tough in the first place. This is what I'm talking about, their shared DNA. Both cards are running on NVIDIA's latest Ada Lovelace architecture. Both are packing a solid 16 gigs of fast VRAM, and crucially, they both have those 4th-gen tensor cores, which are basically specialized little calculators that just crunch AI math like crazy, and they both support FP8. So the bottom line is, no matter which one you choose, you're getting a seriously top-tier platform for AI.
Let's just pause on that FP8 support for a second, because this is a huge deal. This feature basically trickled down from NVIDIA's massive, expensive data center GPUs. Think of it like a super efficient compression format for AI data. It can literally cut your data storage and bandwidth needs in half, which for you can mean doubling your speed for things like AI inference. It is an absolute game changer, and the fact that both cards have it is amazing.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. NVIDIA themselves are pretty clear that the whole point of this Ada Lovelace architecture was to power exactly this kind of intense AI and compute work. So the key thing to remember is that both of these GPUs come from a world-class pedigree.
So, if they're so similar, why the price difference? Where does the 4080's extra speed come from? Well, this is where we get into the architectural divide. It's time to pop the hood and see what you're really paying for.
First up, CUDA cores. The easiest way to think about these is as the individual workers on a factory floor. The more workers you have, the more you can get done at once. The RTX 4080 is packing almost 10,000 of them, while the 4070 Ti Super has about 8,500. That's over 1,000 extra workers, which means way more parallel processing power for those big AI jobs. Now, if the CUDA cores are the workers, then memory bandwidth is the highway system that delivers materials to them. The 4080 has a wider, faster highway, almost 717 gigabytes per second. This just means it can shuttle data to all those extra workers much more efficiently, preventing traffic jams and keeping the whole factory humming along at peak speed. And that brings us to the L2 cache. To complete our little analogy, think of the cache as a super fast workbench right next to each group of workers. A bigger workbench means they can keep more of their tools and parts right there instead of having to take a long walk back to the main warehouse, which is the VRAM. The 4080's bigger 64 megabyte cache means fewer of those slow trips, which really adds up to a snappier, more efficient GPU. So let's just lay it all out side by side. For the RTX 4080, you're getting more CUDA cores, more tensor cores, higher memory bandwidth, and a larger L2 cache. Plain and simple. Now, what's the trade-off? Well, you can see it right there at the bottom, a slightly higher power draw at 320 watts. This table really tells the whole story of the 4080's hardware advantage. Okay, specs on a slide are one thing, but what does this all actually mean for you when you're waiting on a model to train and it's 2 in the morning? How does all that hardware translate into actual real-world speed? Let's answer the so what question. This right here. This is probably the single most important slide. When you run real AI workloads, all those spec advantages that the 4080 has add up to about a 10 to 20% speed up. Your training steps are shorter, your inference is faster. If you're fine-tuning a big language model or doing something complex with computer vision, this is where you'll really feel that difference. And let's be clear, 10 to 20% isn't just a number on a chart. It's a direct boost to your productivity. It means you can run more experiments in a day. It means you can iterate on your ideas faster. It means higher throughput. In any kind of professional setting where time is literally money, that's not a small difference. It's a critical one. All right,
We've seen what they share, we've seen how they're different, and we've seen what that difference means for performance. So now it's time to bring it all home and help you figure out which card has your name on it. So let's start with a really simple question. Just think about your setup and your goals for a second. Is your number one priority getting into this new generation of AI hardware while keeping your upfront costs and your power bill as low as possible? If you nodded your head yes, then the RTX 4070 Ti Super is almost definitely your card. It is the smart, pragmatic, sensible choice. It's perfect for a killer single GPU workstation, for personal research, for learning, and for fine-tuning models when you're not under the gun with some crazy deadline. But what if you're on the other side of that coin? What if every single second you spend waiting for a model to finish training is a second you're not making progress? What if that time is directly tied to your project's success or your bottom line? If that sounds more like your reality, then the RTX 4080 is the obvious choice. It's purpose-built for those heavy, constant workloads. It's for people doing frequent, intense model training. It's for any scenario where shaving 10, 15, or even 20% off your wait times easily justifies that higher price tag. Now, of course, prices and availability are always in flux, so for the absolute latest numbers and an even more detailed breakdown, you should definitely head over to bestgpusforai.com. We've got the link right there for you, and it's down in the description too. And we'll leave you with just one final thought to chew on. Both of these incredible cards come with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, which right now is a fantastic amount for most models, but as we all look toward the AI of tomorrow, you have to ask the question, is 16 gigs becoming the new bare minimum? Something to think about.